She's here.
Yep.
Okay.
Now I know her name. It is. You can say it now because this comes out when she's born.
What'd you say?
You can say her name.
Gabrielle.
Now.
What did you say?
Yabrielle.
Yabrielle.
Yabby.
Yabby.
Just say Yabby. But you can say the name now because she's born.
Okay. Welcome to 40 Porn, the limited Lorcana podcast, where a gaming dad.
And a gaming not dad.
What do we do?
We explore all things.
Explore all things Lorcana. With a focus on limited formats, we cover set reviews, strategy guides, and stuff that nobody asked for.
Let's get sentimental together. You're a dad, dude.
Yep,
It's a big deal.
I am.
Does it feel like you're a dad right now at this moment?
No, right now I just feel stressed. But I'll probably be stressed when this is released as well.
Yeah, you will.
Well, I'll have just gone through maybe the most stressful day of my life.
And the happiest, I hear.
Yeah, I don't know. I've heard good things.
Mm-hmm.
But I also pass out in situations like that, so I totally expect to
Pass out.
pass out.
You're a fainter.
Yeah, like a fainting goat. I'm going to get some, like the things that the bodybuilders smell before
Smelling
they-
salts.
Yeah, I'm going to get some of those.
That's actually genius.
So so instead of waking me up after, I'm going to pre-wake up with it.
Yeah, I like that. They use them in hockey too. I saw some guys sniffing the other day.
Oh, is that where their teeth fall out?
I don't think so.
Oh,
That's a different thing.
that's Flonase. If you were a loved one,
I hope we help some people through Flonase.
yeah, a
That
Flonase
conversation.
support group.
Uh-huh.
I was going to say, at this point, the baby's born. Maybe you've seen a cute photo in our Discord or something. I don't know. But usually newborn babies aren't cute to me.
Mm-mm.
That's probably a pretty lukewarm take.
Yeah, I agree. I
It
think
usually
people-
takes a few weeks for them to get cute.
They're probably cute if you're somehow related to them, then it's cute. But
I don't know. I've seen some relatives that were not cute.
well, yeah. Agreed. But I'm saying some people feel that.
I'm sure I'll think that my kid is cute.
Right.
Yes.
My dad has said I looked like an alien when I came out.
Well, that's what I think a lot of babies look like. Sort of like grumpy old alien men.
Yeah. True.
And then they become cute.
Yeah. Or they don't.
Yeah, some of us don't.
We're not all.
It's all downhill.
Some say that's the cutest I ever was.
Yeah. Well, today we are talking about the vanilla test,
Yes.
specifically why we value 5-drop so highly.
Mm-hmm.
So this is kind of like more like informational as opposed to educational.
Yeah.
Like this isn't really going to improve your gameplay probably.
Well, just shut it off. Lots of people just clicked right off.
Well, I think we already lost some people. But I think that this will help you understand maybe why we advocate so strongly for 5 and 6 drop cards.
Yeah, shouts out.
Yeah, so we're going to dive into that in a bit more detail, maybe too much detail.
Mm-hmm.
We'll start off with the listener question, and then we'll wrap up with an advice segment. But this time, you need our advice instead of us asking you for advice.
Yeah, it's weird because nobody really asked. So I'm asking now.
Yeah, well, one person asked you for advice.
True.
I think it scared a lot of people away.
Yeah, I don't want... That's all they needed.
Yeah, they're like, confirmed my suspicions. I'm glad I didn't ask for advice.
Never mind.
I'm sure I will be needing any and all dad advice.
Yeah.
How to not mess up a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's possible. Everybody's a little messed up.
Right. For sure.
Do you think that there's anyone that doesn't need therapy?
No. I think everyone does.
Wow.
Everyone can benefit from therapy. Every single person.
I think some of our listeners have some dads you could talk to. Okay, so here's our listener question from Shaman,
See him.
Saya, Minnesota. In the Discord, he said, do you have any pet cards that you think probably are stinkers, but you still want to add them to your deck every time you see them? Yes, definitely. I really like the Snuggly Duckling in Ursula's Return.
Just a great name.
I don't think it's very good, though.
No.
Like, if you have high-strength characters there, you can gain extra lore when they challenge other characters.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's an alternative win condition. I'm a sucker for alternative win conditions. So anytime there's some weird way to gain lore, I like that card, even if it's bad.
Yeah, that's a great answer.
But like we talked about last episode, you can have the flexibility to do that if you know how to build out a basic, core set of like 30 to 35 cards in a good deck. Then you can have like 5 to 10 flexible spots to do some silly stuff like Snuggly Duckling or Grandpappy or whatever.
Right.
What about you?
Nope, that was my answer. You took it.
My answer was your answer?
Yeah.
Your answer is just anything with not that much text on it.
Yo, I love the no text.
Inkable, not a lot of text.
Uh-huh.
That actually is kind of cabs,
Yeah, true.
Just play like good characters.
That's why I liked it, yeah. It's easy to understand.
Less words on a card, the better.
Right. Hey, shouts out to Saya MN. We're going to make that Minnesota meetup happen. I saw we had some other people from Minnesota in the Discord. Love to see that. And I'm hoping to get back for the great Minnesota get-together for the state fair this year. So
in August,
usually like late August, I think early September. But I'm going to try and make it back for that.
Yeah, the Minnesota State Fair is...
Wow. What do you say,
A feat of human ingenuity.
It's just everything you want in one place.
It's like a pillar of American culture.
Yeah.
Yeah, people say America has no culture. Go to the Minnesota State Fair.
They have it all.
I thought that only in the South did people get the state they live in tattooed on their thigh. Nope, saw it in Minnesota quite a bit.
Oh, everywhere, dude. We love that stuff. Put
State,
it all over us.
State flag on the bicep. Saw it in Minnesota.
Hey, we're changing our state flag. I think it was racist, like most.
Well, the new
state
one's
flags.
just like turquoise, right?
I don't think I saw the new one. I'll check it out. But props to you, Minnesota. Trying to change. People can change.
I'm worried that... Sorry, I won't make the joke again. But no, yeah. I don't think Georgia flag's going to change any soon.
Oh, no.
Do you want to see it?
The Georgia flag?
The Georgia flag?
I don't even know what it looks like. I live here. I mean, state flags are kind of funny to me. Is that a hot take? I think state flags are dumb.
Yeah. No, it's pretty cool. I think ours is fine. Is it racist? Probably. I don't know.
We should probably know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just look, yeah.
Wisdom, justice, and moderation. Those things feel pretty calm to me.
I just think state flags, like, if you are in love with state flags, let me know why. I can change my mind.
Yeah.
I just don't see the point of them.
Yeah, let us know why you like or dislike your own state flag. I like state mottos. What's Minnesota's state motto?
E pluribus unum. Wait, is that real?
It is
L'Etoile du Nord. It's the Star of the North.
L'Etoile du Nord.
Yeah,
never would have predicted that. Georgia state motto: wisdom, justice, and moderation. And then my favorite one, is it Delaware? Nope.
Nope.
New Hampshire?
State mottos seem kind of fun now.
Yes.
Live free or die.
New Hampshire is the best state motto, and I will hear no alternative opinions.
It's also the only one that's a movie title, right?
Die Hard?
Live free or die?
I don't know.
I think that's a movie. James Bond or something.
Live free or die movie.
Live free or die hard, yeah.
Live free or die hard. Okay.
They should just add hard at the end.
Yeah, so live free or die. Best state motto.
People are wishing we cut all this. 10 minutes.
No, some people love the lore. I set up the episode. We answered a listener question.
True.
This is how we transition. We're never...
Transition.
Yeah. Cool.
Hey, if you have a really cool state motto, send it.
Yeah, there's 50 of them. We'll take outdated ones as well. Or if you like your state flag, let us know. Mm-hmm. Or if you have a thigh tattoo of your state. We don't want to see it, but you could let us know.
Yeah, let's not request that.
Okay, yeah, that is a shockingly common Georgia tattoo for women. Is like
Georgia?
Yeah, like a peach, like a thigh tattoo of like the outline of Georgia with the peach on it or something like that.
I think just people like getting their states tattooed on their bodies. I see that all the time. Except like Oklahoma, I don't think they're doing it. Mm. Maybe.
If you live in Oklahoma
and you have an Oklahoma state tattoo on your body, just tell us.
Yeah, just tell us. We don't
gotta show
no
us.
Photos. No. Okay. Well, today we're talking about the vanilla test, specifically why we like the 5-drop. This might be a little rambly, but that's okay. That's not new for us.
No.
And then we'll close out with advice.
Yeah, advice for me.
I already said that. So what is the vanilla test? All right, so the vanilla test in Lorcana is once again, I learned about this from Magic. It is a heuristic or a rule of thumb to determine the expected value of a card at any given ink cost. So for example, for 1 ink you expect to get a 2/2 that quests for 1 or a 1/3 that quests for 1. For 2 ink, you expect to get a 2/3 that quests for 1 or a 2/2 that quests for 2. So the vanilla test basically just says when you're evaluating a card, compare it to the vanilla version of that card to see if it's worthwhile. So if you're paying a 2-drop and it is a 2/1 that can quest for 2, that's below rate. So we expect to get some ability on there that's better that makes it worth losing that willpower.
All right.
So that's why you hear me reference all the time things that are like, oh, we're trading 2 willpower to gain evasive or whatever. It's
below rate.
Because we need a baseline, and the vanilla test is our baseline.
Sure.
So the vanilla test is also a helpful way to study power creep over time.
Okay.
Do you know what power creep is?
I'm just firing from the hip that you mean something like if costs numbers are changing over time. Is that like shifting? So now 2 costs are generally this instead of what it was.
Yeah, over time, the quality of cards at any given cost is going to improve.
Cool.
Because that's how the game progresses, and that's how they get you to keep buying product. People hear power creep and think of it as like sometimes like a negative or like bad thing, but it's just how games progress. If a new set comes out and nothing in it is better than anything that already exists,
why would you buy it?
You're not going to buy that. So they have to make cards that either don't do something cards that do something that does not exist, or cards that do something better than what already exists.
Got it.
That's how they get you to buy packs.
Yep.
Or they could just rotate out old sets, which they might do eventually. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
So we've already seen power creep in Lorcana, even though we only have 4 sets. Like if you look at Hades from Ursula's Return, we used to pay 4 and you would get a 3/5 that quests for 1. And the Hades, and I think there was a Steel Mulan that's a 3/6 that quests for 1 for 4 ink.
Yeah.
Now, we're not worried about like, because some people will be like, well, the colors are different, or there's a different character subtype, or that's a rare and this is a super rare, or whatever. We're not really focusing on that. For us in limited, it doesn't matter. That stuff doesn't matter most of the time.
Yeah.
So we just look at the vanillas and we look at how much value do we expect to get at any given cost. If you study that over time, you'll see power creep.
Yes.
Over the course of years.
It's going to happen.
Or for us, over the course of 4 sets, we've already seen some of it.
Yeah.
So how are you feeling so far about the vanilla test?
Totally fine. I get it. Compare cards to the vanilla of that cost.
Yeah. So now we're going to talk a little bit about 5-drops specifically, because something that we harp on quite a bit is prioritizing picking up 5-drop cards.
The power of 5s.
Yeah, because you want, I think our number that we say is like 6 to 8 5-drops, but in any given set, there's usually not that many 5-drops available at the common and uncommon level.
Yeah.
Just because normally the sub-rare cards are focused in like that 1 to 4 cost slot. Because usually the higher the rarity, it means the higher complexity. The higher the complexity typically means a higher cost.
Yes.
So 5-drops usually aren't that available for us in draft. That's the first reason why we prioritize picking them.
Yeah, if you see one, there's not going to be a lot coming around.
Yeah, and you win games of limited most of the time. If you spend all of your ink each turn, you drastically increase the chances that you will win the game.
Yes.
So on turn 5, being able to play a 5-drop is better than being able to play a 4-drop on turn 5. Okay, so that is the first thing, is they're hard to come by, but they have a good impact on the game.
Yep.
And then another thing to keep in mind, we'll get to that in a second. Another thing is, let's look at like the normal flow of a game.
Okay.
And then I'll circle back to why that ties into 5-drops being important.
Yes.
So at the start of the game, let's say I'm going first, you're going second. I have 7 cards in hand. I'm on the play. So turn 1, I ink a card, and then I play a card, and I pass my turn.
Yep.
So I have 5 cards in my hand. Then turn 2, I draw a card, I ink a card, and then I play a card. So now I have 4 cards in hand at the end of my turn.
Okay. Yep.
So then on turn 3, I do the same thing. I draw a card, I ink a card, I play a card, so I have 3 cards in hand.
Mm-hmm.
Turn 4, I go down to 2 cards in hand. Turn 5, I go down to 1 card in hand. And then turn 6, I draw a card. If I ink a card and play a card, my hand is now empty.
Right.
And for the rest of the game, I'm just drawing, I'm top decking. Right?
Yes.
Because if you want to ink a card and play a card every turn, eventually you're going to run out.
Yes.
If you're on the play, when do you run out? On turn 6.
Correct.
If you're on the draw, you would end turn 6 with 1 card
Yep.
in hand still.
Yep.
Whereas I would end with 0 cards in hand.
Got it.
So what does that have to do with anything? Well, I know this is all very theoretical, but I think it's interesting. If not, sorry. But think about, like, every card that we ink is a card we don't get to play,
Yes.
right? When we're playing Lorcana, for the first few turns, you have to ink every turn.
Mm-hmm.
But there comes a point where you have to decide, do I continue to ink cards, or do I just stop inking and focus on playing?
Yeah.
It's not always that clear, because sometimes you want to ink to get up to be able to play a 7-drop or whatever. But most of the time, there's a point where you're like, okay, I think I'm done. I'm just going to play what I draw now.
Mm-hmm.
In the natural progression of a game. You
Yeah.
know, we're ignoring card draw, we're ignoring ramp, etc.
Yeah.
So in this situation, when does it start to become painful to ink cards? Like, when do I even have to think twice about inking something?
Yeah.
And for me, I think it's turn 5.
Mm-hmm.
Because on turn 5, I start the turn, and I have, at the start of my turn on turn 5, I have 3 cards in my hand, and I
Right.
have 4 cards in my inkwell.
Yes.
So if I ink a card and play a card, I have 1 card left in my
Mm-hmm.
hand, and that means next turn I'll have 2 options.
Yeah.
Well, the average cost of a limited deck is somewhere around 3 to 4 ink, right?
Okay.
It's the average cost of one of your cards.
Mm-hmm.
So when I have access to 4 ink, if I have 3 cards in hand in the start of my turn on turn 5, I probably have 3 options on what to play.
Yeah.
Or maybe I have a 5-drop, you know?
Yeah.
But if I have a 5-drop, it's pretty clear. I ink a card and I play
And then
that
play your
card.
5-drop. Yeah.
But sometimes you don't have a 5-drop,
Right.
and then you just have a 4-drop in your hand, and you're like, well,
Now what?
do I ink something hoping I get to a 5 or a 6
Uh-huh.
later, or do I just stick with what I have and try to play the board? Because here's the problem, is if I have 4 ink and I ink a card and then play a 4-drop, and then next turn I just draw another 4-drop, I have access to 5 ink,
And 2
and I'm
4-drops.
just playing a couple of 3s or 4s each turn.
Mhm.
I could have, 1 3 or 4 drop each turn. I could have done that with 4 ink, and then I still would have had access to 1 more card in
Yeah.
my hand.
Still have the option.
So this isn't like a super scientific approach, but just in my anecdotal experience, in the flow of a game, turn 5 is the first time where it feels painful to ink a card, because I might want to keep that card, or I might be running low on inkable cards. Turn 5, it feels like, is when it gets to be tricky.
That's when opportunity cost starts to become like, okay, is
Yeah.
this the best idea? Yeah.
First 4 turns, you have to ink something. If
Uh-huh.
you can't, you're probably going to lose the game. That's why we push for having a maximum 8 uninkables, because you don't want to.
You need to be able to ink.
You need to be able to ink for the first 4 turns.
Mhm.
This isn't like, and you mean, even in constructed, that's terrible, but in limited, it's especially bad if you miss an ink on turn 2 or turn 3.
Yeah.
So on turn 5, you have to decide, do I ink these cards or do I play these cards? So that's when it seems like the opportunity cost of, if I'm going to ink my 5th card, it better be worth it, right? If I'm going to ink this good 3-drop so I can play a 5-drop, this 5-drop better make up for the loss of that card.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
And if we look at the numbers, which I'm about to talk through, you see that is the case.
Mm-hmm.
So if you study the expected value for 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, and 5s, there's a pretty significant jump between the average value of a 4-drop and the average value of a 5-drop.
Gotcha.
For vanillas, or if you compare evasives or bodyguards, like if you look at French vanillas,
Yeah.
across the board, for some reason,
There's
for
a-
4-drop to 5-drop, the quality of the card increases dramatically.
Yeah, that's where there's a big jump.
Yeah, that's where
Okay.
there's the biggest jump.
Uh-huh.
And that's true if they're things that quest for 1, things that quest for 2, and things that quest at 3. It's
Right.
true for all of them.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just let's just look at the 1 ink, or the things that quest for 1. So we're gonna talk about body points. So when I spend 1 ink for a 1-drop, I expect to get a 2/2 that quests for 1. That's 4 body points.
Okay.
2 strength, 2 willpower.
Mm-hmm.
4 body points can also be a 1/3 that quests for 1.
Yep.
That's still 4 body points. At 2 ink, we expect to get a 2/3 that quests for 1. That's 5 body points.
Mm-hmm.
So we spend 1 more ink and we get 1 more body point.
Okay.
Then on
3.
3, we get 2 more body points because on turn 3, if we play a 3-drop, we expect to get a 3/4 or a 4/3.
Got you. We're going
So-
from 5 to 7.
Yeah, we're going from an expected value for things that quest for 1 lore, 5 body points versus 7.
Okay.
Now, we actually see this slow down a bit between turn 3 and turn 4. For a 4-drop that quests for 1, we expect to get 8 body points. So
Okay.
a 4/4 that...
We're back to
On turn
1.
4, you get a 4/4 that quests for 1, or a 3/5 that quests for 1. But now, with the new Hades, we actually sometimes will occasionally see a 3/6 that quests for 1.
Okay.
So that's just a jump of 1 body point.
Mm-hmm.
But then if you look at the 5 lore, 5 ink cards, we expect to get 11 body points on average. So it's a jump of 3.
Okay.
So that 5th ink that we use generates 3 more body points on a character.
That's the largest jump in body points.
Yeah, because...
by just increasing 1.
Yeah, you expect to get a
cost.
5/6 or a 6/5, right? And then if you look at like a 6-drop, there aren't many 6-drops that quest for 1 that are vanilla, but the one that we have is a 5/7 that quests for 1.
Yeah.
But that's not really a good example because it gets weird once you hit 6 ink. Because at 6 ink in the new format, you can get a 7/5 that quests for 2.
Okay.
So it's like, it gets a little
Stuff
wonky.
just get... Yeah.
But the thing that's interesting to me is that this jump in quality from a 4-drop to a 5-drop, that extra 3 body points, we see it basically across the board.
Okay.
Like, if you look at our 2 lore questers, if you pay 4 ink, what do you expect to get for a card that quests for 2? You expect to get a 3/4 that quests for 2
Okay.
when you spend 4 ink. So that's 7 body points.
Yep.
But compare that to Winnie the Pooh Honey Wizard at 5 ink.
Yep.
You expect to get a 5/5 that quests for 2. That's
Okay.
10 body points.
So still at 3
So
jump.
once again, you get that jump of 3. Or if you look at things that quest for 3 lore, if you pay, sorry,
It's a lot of numbers.
Yeah, if you pay 4 ink, you expect to get a 3/3 that quests for 3.
Yeah.
That's 6 body points.
Uh-huh.
But if you pay 5 ink, you expect to get a 3/6 that quests for 3.
If you're driving right now listening to this, you've just veered off the road.
It's
full
a
of
lot.
numbers.
It's
Yeah,
a lot.
yeah.
But here's the short version. Whether a vanilla character quests for 1, 2, or 3 lore, the difference between a 4-drop and a 5-drop is 3 body points.
Yes.
On average.
The most significant difference
Yes.
going 1. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Got it.
But what's interesting is if you look at, like, you can apply this to specific keywords like bodyguard or evasive, and you can see sort of how do they evaluate what is bodyguard worth at a specific cost. So like, or maybe a good example would be evasive. Like,
Okay.
if you look at like fidget, you pay 3 for a 3/2 that quests for 1. It has evasive.
Mm-hmm.
So we trade 2 body points to earn evasive.
Okay. So normally
So
it'd be
it
a 7,
seems
but
like
it's a
on
5.
it seems like on average, they evaluate evasive as being worth about 2 body points.
Okay.
Except what's interesting is that for 1 more ink, we get 3 whole more body points, even if a character is evasive.
Okay.
So look at, if you look at, hang on, I have some examples right here. If you look at Fidget, right,
Yep.
you pay 3 for a 3/2 that quests for 1, that's 2 less body points. Or Minnie Mouse Surfer, you pay 3 for a 1/3 that quests for 2, and you get, it has evasive.
Yep.
Right?
So it's still at 5 body points. Yeah.
Yeah,
2
so
less.
normally we would expect to get a 3/3 that quests for 2
Yes.
without evasive at that
Mhm.
cost. But if you look at the jump in efficiency between 4 and 5 drops, even with keywords, it's still 3 body points. So
Okay.
like Ratigan, you pay 4 and you get a 4/1 that quests for 2 and it has evasive.
Mm-hmm.
And then Don Carnage, you pay 5 for a 4/4/2 that has evasive.
Okay.
So that's 3 more body points.
Still 5 to 8. So the short version of what you're saying is that the 4 to 5 jump is the most significant in
It's-
body points across the board. Doesn't matter if you're looking at vanillas, doesn't matter if you're looking at
Yeah.
evasives, bodyguards, they're still giving you that larger advantage body
Yes.
point wise.
Yes. Same thing for bodyguards. If you look at Joshua Sweet and Nani, or if you just look at cards that aren't vanillas or whatever, but that do similar abilities,
Mhm.
you'll see that almost always the jump in efficiency there's a big gap if you compare a very similar 4-drop to a 5-drop.
Right.
If they do the same type of thing, the 5-drop's going to have better stats or do that thing better.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that the reason that I even bring that up is because I think it's important for us to understand just like how the flow of a game and how it progresses and realize that we need to have certain expectations of the cards that we include in our list.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you'll see people just play a 5-drop because it's a 5-drop, but not all of them are created equal. Some of them don't have very good abilities, or some of them are understated, which is why we need to pay attention to this vanilla test. You should know what the break points are at each level, so that you know if a card is better or worse than we would expect.
Okay.
So if we were to see in the new set, you pay 5 for a 4/5 that quests for 2 and it has evasive, that's 1 point better than Don Carnage. So that's a little bit of a silly example because we all would know that that's really good. But it's helpful to know what were cards that were good in the past. Is this the same thing or a slightly better version of that thing?
Yeah.
If so, it's probably going to be good now as well.
Yeah.
So this is basically how we evaluate cards here at 40 Born. We compare them to things that we already know, and we compare things back to the vanilla, because the vanilla is sort of our guidepost towards what is good and what is efficient enough to include in our deck, especially when we think about cabs like we talked about last week. If we want a deck that's full of cards that affect the board state, then we need to know what we expect a card's impact to be at any given point.
Yeah.
And it seems like the 5-drop has the best return on investment for every card that we spend to put in our inkwell as a card that we're not playing.
Yeah.
Turn 5 is the biggest jump that we have consistently in quality from 4 to 5.
Yep.
Sometimes a good 5-drop can take out, everything that's been played before it. It can threaten everything that's on the board before it.
Yeah.
And so that's why I also think sometimes people will not take just vanilla 5-drops because they're not exciting, but they are absolutely worth it. Like, look at Chin Po from the last set, from this set, Ursula's Return. He has Bodyguard, but he has such a big impact on the game that you wouldn't really realize because there's not a bunch of text on there.
Yeah.
It's just a 4/7 with Bodyguard, but sometimes that's all you need.
Right.
It's just a big old wall of stats.
Exactly.
And a lot of times that's what I want on turn 5. If my turn 5, if my 5 slot could just be like 6 to 8 just efficiently statted 5-drops with no text on them, I would be cool with that.
That's totally fine. Yeah. Don't sleep on the 5s.
Nope, don't sleep on the 5s. So I know this is a bit of a long-winded rant or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe people don't think this is interesting. Maybe you do think it's interesting. Let us know. But if you want more of these sort of deep dives on I guess this is more like game design type stuff.
Yeah.
I'm happy to talk about it.
This may be something that you've noticed and just not put into words, or you'll hear this and be like, oh yeah, that's why, right? And maybe like you said, that's why there's that dilemma on turn 5.
Yeah, for sure. I think it is helpful sometimes to step back and realize, to hear somebody say this is why it is the way that it is.
Right.
And I'm sure this was intentional. I'm sure they realized the balance of inking versus playing cards. It's a lot more pronounced in limited than it is in constructed.
Yeah.
And so we just have to be aware of that when we're building our decks.
Right. Have a conversation.
Yeah. So that is the TLDR on why we love 5-drops.
My brain hurts. A lot of information.
Yeah. We didn't even talk about songs.
Thank God.
Just talking about characters,
Couldn't have made it.
No. We didn't even talk about inkable or uninkable.
No, we didn't.
That impacts things as well.
Just talked about 5s.
Talked about a lot of numbers.
Lots of numbers.
I will admit.
You're a numbers guy, though.
Yeah.
You're number one. You're the number one dad now.
Man, I hope so. I'll be maybe one day. I want to be the very best.
I don't remember the next line.
Like no one ever was.
There it is. Disney. Oh, no. Yeah.
No.
What's that from?
I want to be the very best. Isn't that Pokemon?
Oh,
Pokemon?
yeah. Oh, yeah. You're right.
You got me all mixed up. Sheesh, Louise. And you wanted to say before this, you wanted to publicly defend your knowledge of Disney. You mentioned bringing that up as a talking point.
I stand by it. Challenge me. Don't. I'm sorry. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think that's clear. You want some advice, idiot?
Yeah, I do. Here's what happened. I'm at my home the other day, and my home looks down. My front windows from my couch look down on the street. I see a neighbor that I don't talk to, but I recognize this neighbor in my neighborhood, and I see him walking his dog, and his dog is pooping in my yard. Just pooping in my yard. And he's just watching it, watching his dog kick it up after, and then going about his merry way. He starts walking away with the dog poop still in my yard. Now, here's the thing. I was extremely ill. I'm getting over an illness, so normally I would just knock on the window. My house is like kind of on a hill, so from the street they'd look up. So I'd knock on the window till he heard that, and I would just wave, just a friendly hey.
And you've done that before?
Yeah.
To this guy?
Well, no. Here's real story. One time, some ladies walking down the street. I don't know how I'm gonna say this because
one of them went pooping.
It doesn't sound true. There's a dead armadillo in the road. There's dead dillos here in the South.
Yeah, that sounds true.
The lady flung the dead armadillo into my yard.
Why would she touch it?
I don't know. So I knocked on the window.
Hang on. Don't touch dead armadillos.
You shouldn't.
They
move
are so dirty and disease-ridden. Sorry, keep going.
Her explanation was she's like, I don't want anyone to hit it in the road. And I was like, well, it shouldn't be in like my yard.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I would just normally knock and give a friendly wave, not say anything, but just like so he knows I saw his dog poop in my yard. But I was feeling sick and I was like, I don't have this in me to do this. And then he just left the dog poop. So, what do I do about that? Am I just being a curmudgeon? Do I just pick it up and just move on with my life? Do I let my dog poop in his yard? Do I bag the poop and bring it to his yard and just leave it there? What do I do? I'd probably just throw it away, dude. Move on.
I can tell you what I would do.
Well, what would you do? I'm scared.
Those are good options. So what I would do is I would find, next time he walks by with his dog, I would take a photo of him and his dog.
Oh, no, dude.
And then I would make a sign. I would take a photo of the poo-poo.
You can't do that.
And I would put a photo of the sign and I would say, this man does not clean up after his dog. And I would put that sign around the neighborhood.
You can't say that. You would not do this, dude. You can't say that. People are going to believe you. You would not do that.
I'm just telling you a solution.
I want to hear real... Excuse me. I want to hear real advice what I should do. I think I should just move on with my life. But I just thought it was funny. I was like...
That's not an option.
I was like, you live in a neighborhood, and it's like a yard. Like, you live 3 doors down from me. And this is a clear yard. My yard's not like foresty brush, you know? It's like, it's in the yard.
I would take Marvin, that's your dog, to his house. Mm-hmm. And then you do the window trick, but on his window. And then when he comes to the window to see, that's when Marvin poops in his yard.
That sounds like I really need Marvin to get on board. Also, that's trespassing. Don't trespass.
Okay, so here's what you could do. You could take that poo-poo and you could bag it and put it in his mailbox.
That's too much, dude.
Okay.
That's like probably a felony. Touching people's mail and stuff.
You could set it on top. Like a little goodie bag.
The most egregious thing I thought about was just like bagging it and just putting it in front of his yard. But that was like, how much work is it for me to bag his dog's poop and just bring it to his yard? Like, that's a lot. I'm not that guy.
My real life advice would be to do nothing.
Just bag it and throw it away.
Yeah. I think there are bigger
and just
things
remember him. This is a good lesson. You can decide what to get mad about sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can't.
Yeah, sometimes it just happens. But in this situation, I think that you can choose the high road and say nothing.
You're right. I knew what I should do, and
I'm store it up. Just store it up, and then one day explode on him.
I'm just gonna bottle that deep down.
Yeah. And
I'll never forget.
Yeah. I think that I'm interested to hear what our listeners think.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm getting choked up. If you have any advice for Taylor and Marvin, how they can process the events that have transpired in their neighborhood, hop in our Discord. Let us know what we should do.
And just pick up after your animals. Do that.
PSA.
Yeah.
I want to know, okay, guess. How many, at this point next week, how many diapers will you guess that I have changed? The baby will have been outside of the womb for 24 hours.
I'm going to say like 2.
2.
Because I don't know how much little tiny newborn babies are pooping. Also, like, you're in a hospital, right? Like, I don't know. Did the hospital ever change your baby's diaper?
Yeah, I guess the question is, how many times will she have needed a diaper change? Because
Yeah.
it's just not number 2s. You got to change on the 1s as well.
Right.
You knew that, right?
Yes, obviously I knew that.
Well, Sky and I want to keep a record of how many we change over the course of her first year.
Why?
Just to see what the number is. Like you said, I'm a numbers guy.
I can't imagine any of that bringing you joy. It's like, we bought 4,000 diapers in the first year. That's probably low.
I don't think it'll be that many.
I bet you change a baby's diaper like 3 times a day at least.
It's going to be more than that.
4 times a day at least.
What I heard was 8.
Well, that's 2,400. That's like 3,000. That's close to 4,000 diapers.
Wait, 8
It's 3,000 diapers. 8 times 365.
8 times 300 would be 2,400. 8
Plus
times
another
6
400.
Yeah,
80.
wow. It
Yeah,
would be
it's
a lot.
3,000, a little over 3,000 diapers.
But I think it slows down as they get older. So I think at first it's like floodgates open.
Yeah.
Always. And then after it slows down.
I'm glad.
There are some parents listening to this that are like, good luck. This guy doesn't know anything.
I'm so glad you're the one having the baby
Yeah.
and not me.
Yeah, I'm excited to have a baby.
It's
I
gonna be
have a
cool.
baby now.
Yeah.
When this comes
oh,
out.
yeah.
I'm excited to
That
have
you have
had
a baby.
A baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's great. Her name is...
Just say it. We'll
No.
leave it. We'll leave it out. I'm
No.
not going to tell anyone.
No, I can't do that. Sky and I made a deal. But we'll post in the Discord. I don't know how I feel about posting photos of the baby online, actually.
Yeah.
People are weird.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, yeah.
Just trust
Maybe
us.
you-
She's cute.
Maybe just like you holding so you can't really see her. You're holding her.
Just a bundle.
Yeah.
It's just Fern. Fern in a trench coat.
Wrapped up.
Okay, well...
When we go
if you-
upstairs, I'm going to tell Sky I like the name.
Let's see what she says. Okay. Follow us on Twitter.
Yep.
Follow us on Instagram. Hop in our Discord.
Yep.
Go like and subscribe on YouTube. It really helps. Wherever you listen, leave a review. It helps quite a bit.
And don't forget to, provide feedback if you want in form of email. We take it. We listen.
Yeah, we like feedback sometimes. And go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
I'm ready for football.
Yeah. I'm ready for not summer weather.
It's 95 degrees, man.
It's hot. Cut it. Cut it.
Thank you.